Hey guys, Mark Anthony here for SiGMA Group, and today I'll be interviewing the CEO of Openbox Gaming, Richard Hogg. Let's go. Richard, how are you today?
Great, thanks. Good to be back in Malta. Arrived last night. Ash cloud again seemed to delay my entrance, but made it here in one piece.
That's great. That's great. Have you been missing for a while?
Was in Malta a week ago, but just for 2 days.
Just for 2 days.
Yeah, just for 2 days. A quick couple of meetings, and then come back here for an event and for meetings, board meetings, and so forth.
Great. And we'll be seeing you at the end of the year as well, right? In
Indeed,
November,
you will
hopefully,
be, of course.
the Malta week.
Everybody will be at SiGMA, as always.
Brilliant stuff. Richard, I am super curious about finding out more about Openbox. Yeah, I'm just going to jump into the very first question for you because everybody's eager to find out what it is you guys have been up to. How was the process of officially launching in Brazil?
Well, it came from one of our clients requesting our service to enter the Brazilian market. Now, we know the Brazilian market is huge. It has got a lot of potential, but it is also fraught with difficulties in that you really need a local partner. We've seen some of the big tier one operators trying to succeed in that market, and they failed, and quite openly failed about it. And those with local partners and really localize their product have succeeded. And of course, now we've got regulation, and that is still in the process. Nobody knows 100% what it's going to be. But we do know it's going to be for sports betting. So where does that leave casinos? Casinos are a big part of any online operation. So, we have to consider all of those aspects, how we'll approach regulation. At the moment, people work off offshore licensing, how we'll approach regulation, how we deal with the payment processes, how we deal with the game providers. We have to really consider the content that we need, and player acquisition, how we can assist with the player acquisition retention.
Brilliant. Richard, what are the hopes for a regulated Brazilian market for the gaming industry on a whole?
Well, we've seen, as I mentioned before, we've seen that they've got plans in place. They're looking at sports betting. And again, I ask, what is going to be the situation for casinos? There's some big operators there that focus heavily on casino revenues. What happens to those? What happens with cryptocurrencies? We know that's going to be a big part of many of these operations, especially when regulation takes part. And I think the key is also to make sure that the regulation doesn't go too far. We've seen that the UK has created an unholy mess for players. As a player who goes to a site, has all these demands of them to provide KYC documentation, which you don't have an issue with, but it gets intrusive, and it's intrusive to the level that now players refuse to get handed over, and a lot are going to black market sites. So you've got to get the balance right. And
Openbox is set to do this.
Openbox, yes, as a B2B supplier, has all the services, has the regulatory processes in place, has licensing, has the payment processing, has the services, the AML checks, etc. in place. So, our clients, as an example, playing.io in Brazil can really utilize and be comforted in the fact that we can supply and deal with whatever is thrown our way. Similarly, we've got a client in Africa 365. Interesting name.
It is.
But yeah, Africa365.com, again, they can be sure that we can provide whatever is required. We're spoken to a local partner in Nigeria, for example, who can help us navigate and ensure that we have the right people on board, the right partners on board, the right processes, because it's important to have everything that works in the right environment. Everything has to be localized, and you have to consider what the players need. And where there is no regulation or where it is grey, then of course, like every operator, we take a view, and we have entities that can support that as well. So but where regulation is appropriate, then we're well positioned
That's great.
To offer those services.
That's great, Richard. What are the overall predictions for the iGaming industry in LATAM, you would say?
Well, it's a huge market. You look at the size of the continent as a whole. People often say to me, what market can we enter that's untapped? There's no such thing. Every market in the world is now tapped with online, whether it be online with sportsbook, whether it's casino, whether it's mobile. There is always an operator there that is got an into the marketplace and has services, it provides for online, because we're in an environment now where everybody's got a phone, everybody's got some sort of connectivity to the internet, and these services are widely available. My hopes for the market is that we, as an organisation, we can support it. They consider their regulation properly, and we're able to enter each and every market that's available.
Richard, I have one final question for you today. Which types of content do you expect to be popular on your platform? Like, for example, sports betting, crash games, slots?
Well, as I said, our platform supports everything. So we do have sports betting, we have all the casino games, we have poker, we have bingo, whatever the customer needs. So they really have to identify their market. What we've seen in Brazil is that the mini games are performing well, the crash games are performing well, casino style games are performing well. But we know that also sports betting is a big revenue driver for the operators, because it's a sporting country. You look at Brazil, of course, they've got the national football team. You've got Argentina, that's got a national football team that are at a very high level. They're always competing there in the World Cup, and their fans are crazy for it. So, we offer the services. We just hope our partners can utilize and prioritize the services they believe their customers want.
That's great. Richard, wow, thank you very much for that insight.
Okay.
I'm sure you've made a lot of people very happy with what you had to say. It's good to know that there are people growing in this industry, and also tapping into all these new markets, and bringing in their best people to stand there as an example for other businesses in the future. Richard, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for stopping by.
And you.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Cyprus.
Yes.
Yeah?
Thanks for hosting me.
My pleasure.
Pleasure always to come and visit you guys. So see you next time.
Indeed, you will.
Okay.